This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. So that's how it is. This kid is a martial honor. I can see that he is full of vigor. The blood essence in his body must be very appetizing. It's perfect to feed my blood slave. Elder Yu's face twisted as he laughed. Elder Chao, I won't be polite then. Please go ahead, Chao Yaxing said indifferently. However, he has some tricks up his sleeve. Elder Yu, you must not be careless. Thanks for the reminder. Elder Yu did not care about such a reminder. Laughing, he reached out a palm and grabbed at Yunxiao as he said, give me all your blood essence. It's your great honor. All the martial honors around them looked envious. It was a rare opportunity to refine all the blood essence of a martial honor, because martial honors were not so easy to kill. If the other party could not defeat them and wanted to escape, it would be very difficult to kill him, too. But at this moment, everyone's divine senses were locked on Yunxiao, and he could not escape even if he had wings. Why are all you people from the Blood God Palace the same? Yunxiao said, speechless. If you want my blood, then take it. He formed a strange seal with his hands, and a long cry rang out from between his brows. The divine phoenix flame appeared and burned towards Elder Yu, who was flying over with an interested expression. So you're a fire controller. It doesn't seem like an ordinary flame. You really have some skill. Elder Yu's hands quickly formed seals, and a twisted blood skeleton formed behind him. It opened its bloody mouth and bit at the flame. My blood slave can suppress and devour all elements. You are indeed a great tonic for it. The blood slave swallowed the fire phoenix in one gulp, and its body froze in the air for a few seconds. Bang! Without any suspense, the blood slave exploded in an instant. The phoenix's eyes flickered with anger. It swept up the clouds in the sky and burned the sky red. It flew down, and everywhere it passed, there was a raging fire. Elder Yu cried out in pain. The blood slave that was connected to his mind had completely exploded at this moment. It no longer existed. The blood slave's death had shocked him greatly. His heart meridian had been damaged. He was terrified and his mind was completely blank. His blood slave was almost immortal. Only he could revive it with a mouthful of his blood essence. However, Tao Wu had completely disappeared this time. He couldn't feel any aura of its existence. What was going on with this Tao Wu? As he watched the phoenix burn down, he felt an incomparable sense of danger. He roared in anger, everyone, attack together and kill him. The rest of the people were also shocked by the explosion, but when they heard Elder Yu's cry, they immediately threw out all kinds of ultimate moves, and in an instant, blood-red light soared into the sky and surrounded Yunxiao. Chao Yaxing's heart was also in turmoil. Elder Yu's blood slave was so powerful that even he would have to spend a lot of effort to win, but Yunxiao had won with one blow, and he did not panic at all in the face of more than a dozen martial venerables. Come and have a taste of my windmill. Yunxiao laughed and suddenly clenched his hands. Two gusts of primordial wind whistled and spread out, spinning around him like two huge turbines and pressing down on the martial venerables around him, sweeping away the blood light that filled the sky. What? His elemental power is too strange and powerful. Elder Yu suddenly shouted. Everyone, don't use your blood essence. Just stack your domains and shake him to death. He gritted his teeth and took the lead in spreading out his domain power to suppress Yunxiao. A martial supreme's most powerful technique was the 8 Desolation Territory, which simulated rules and was invincible. Elder Yu's idea was very correct. With so much power of martial venerables stacked together, even a 1-star martial emperor would find it difficult to make a breakthrough at once. As long as he could suppress Yunxiao for a few minutes or even a few seconds, it would be enough to kill him. All of a sudden, all of the blood essence in their heads was taken back by everyone. The power of all kinds of domains continued to extend, and the air became abnormally heavy, as if it was about to solidify into iron. It became incomparably hard, and just moving one's bones and muscles would require a lot of strength. As for the space where Yunxiao was, it was distorted by the overlapping layers, and he was on the verge of being nervous at any moment. Yunxiao's face finally flickered. At this moment, the pressure exerted by the space on him was as heavy as several mountains, and his body was covered in bright moonlight. After all, he was only a one-star martial supreme. When everyone gave up on their martial techniques and adopted the most clumsy method, he found it difficult to deal with. Strength can overcome 10 techniques. Elder Yu was overjoyed and said excitedly, could this brilliant light be a special constitution? A blood slave that is lost can be remade. This special physique is extremely hard to come by. Kid, you destroyed my blood slave, so I'll use you to be my second blood slave. He took out a flag and waved it in the air. It was different from Chao Yaxing's flag, but it was more or less the same. Then, the sea of blood rushed toward Yunxiao, trying to swallow him. Yunxiao's eyes gradually turned cold as he said in a cold voice, I'm just playing with you for a bit, and you're getting more and more energetic. His entire body turned into a pale green lightning bolt and he suddenly turned into a bolt of lightning and shot up. Bang! It broke through the blood sea and flew high into the sky. What? He can't be trapped by so many domains. Chao Yaxing's expression changed drastically, and cold sweat began to pour down his face. He thought about how he had the stupid idea of using his trump card to fight his opponent, and now he was filled with fear. His heart was extremely heavy, and he couldn't understand how his opponent had managed to cultivate. He was actually this abnormal. What is he doing? At that moment, Chao Yaxing was looking into the distance. He saw Yunxiao stretch out his right hand high in the sky, and the Divine Realm tablet slowly flew out, growing larger and larger in the air until it turned into a small mountain. Suddenly, the power of the territory spread out, and it fell down at an increasingly faster speed. Everyone was shocked. The power of the 3 territories on the Divine Realm tablet was fully activated, and a strange phenomenon appeared. 3 colored lights kept flowing around the tablet, appearing layer by layer, and the tablet fell to the ground like a meteorite. He's going to run. Chao Yaxing looked down in shock and saw the Blood God Palace's mountain protecting formation. He shouted in shock, not good, he's going to use the monument to break the mountain protecting formation. Stop him. Elder Yu and the other experts were already unable to move under the suppression of the domain's power. They were trying to think of a way to escape when they suddenly heard Chao Yaxing's words. They were all scared out of their wits and did not dare to stop him. They all burned their blood essence and exploded into clouds of blood mist in the air as they used blood escape to escape. Those who were slow were crushed by the Divine Realm tablet and turned into dust by the infinite gravity and the power of wind and fire, leaving no trace. Even though they were dozens of meters away, they were still shocked by the overlapping power of the 3 territories. After Yunxiao had advanced to the rank of martial honor, his control over the Divine Realm tablet had improved again. At this moment, he could even fight a 1-star martial emperor. Boom boom boom. The Divine Realm tablet finally shook on the mountain protecting formation, causing a loud noise on the ground that could be heard for thousands of miles. All the warriors in the distance flew into the air and looked at each other in horror. Elder Yu's face was ashen and his hands were covered in cold sweat. He gritted his teeth and said, Elder Chao, is this the problem you wanted me to solve for you? I think this question of yours is simply unsolvable. Didn't I tell Elder Yu to be careful? Chao Yaxing asked. He has a trump card. How could he be so careless and lose so many palace masters? I'm afraid it'll be hard to explain to the blood god. Chao Yaxing, you're not human. Elder Yu said angrily. I helped you out of goodwill, but you actually schemed against me. Help me. Chao Yaxing sneered coldly. If it wasn't for Elder Yu's blood essence, would you have helped me? We'd better think of a way to explain this to the blood god. His eyes became serious as he said, this Li Yunxiao really doesn't know what's good for him. No matter how strong he is, he's just a martial honor. I'd like to see how he'll deal with this if he offends the great experts in the 9 heavens realm in the palace. Elder Yu's expression changed slightly as he stared at Chao Yaxing with a strange look. He grinned, Elder Chow, this person is an old acquaintance of yours, but it just so happened that he came to kick the door when all the great experts were refining the blood beasts. I really can't believe that there could be such a coincidence. Chow Yaxing's expression changed, and he said coldly, Elder Yu, what do you mean by this? Talking nonsense will kill you. It's not up to me to decide whether I'm talking nonsense or not. I wonder if Lord Blood God believes in such coincidences in the world? Elder Yu laughed heartily, and when he saw Chow Yaxing's pale face, the gloominess in his heart was swept away. Under Yunxiao's command, the Divine Realm Tablet kept bombarding the array. Finally, after one blow, the sound of a cup breaking came from the entire mountain, and the array gradually dissipated. How dare you! You deserve to die. An angry roar came from Blood God Palace. A bloody figure rose into the sky and punched out. The fist force broke through layers of air, shaking the entire sky. It hit the Divine Realm Tablet. Suddenly, the three forces of territory were scattered and the light on the tablet kept spinning. Yunxiao's heart trembled, and he swallowed a mouthful of hot blood. He then recalled the Divine Realm Tablet and looked down. Although he had received Emperor Wu's punch with the Divine Realm Tablet, he had been injured instantly. The martial emperor's pupils constricted and he said coldly, 9th tier profound armament? Then, his eyes fell on Yunxiao, and he was stunned. He quickly spread out his divine sense to search the surroundings, and after making sure that no one was around, his face turned extremely gloomy as he said in a cold voice, Elder Yu, you are in charge of the defense today. How could you let a one-star Martial Supreme break the mountain's protective formation while you just stand by and watch? Elder Yu's body trembled as he felt a chill run down his spine. He quickly stood up and said, Lord Sima, this person is an old friend of Elder Chow. We were caught off guard and many members of the elder group were killed by him. Even I was seriously injured because of my carelessness. Elder Yu, what nonsense are you spouting? How dare you slander me? Chow Yaxing was furious. He didn't think that the other party would actually use him as a shield. A trace of suspicion flashed across Sima Chuanheng's face as he coldly said, no matter what, you can't escape the crime of dereliction of duty. I'll listen to your explanations after I capture this person. He raised his head, his eyes filled with coldness, and said in a cold voice, boy, no one can save you today. I see that your blood essence is not bad. You can take it to the blood-refining beast. Yunxiao looked at him coldly and said with a frown, blood fiends? What the hell is that? Where's the blood god? Sima Chuanheng raised his eyebrows and said coldly, you know our palace master? Lord Sima, this brat said he's here to steal the breathing earth, Chow Yaxing quickly said. Sima Chuanheng was stunned, as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He held his stomach and laughed in the air, tears falling. Ha! Ha! You want to snatch the breathing earth? A one-star Martial Supreme came to my blood god palace to snatch the breathing earth. Ha! Ha! A sneer appeared at the corner of Yunxiao's mouth as he looked at him and said, where is the blood god? Sima Chuanheng's laughter stopped and he said sarcastically, the living earth is indeed in the hands of the palace master. Right now, he's using it to refine the blood beasts in the blood beast palace below. If you have the ability, go and snatch it. However, I have to tell you that all the experts of the 9 heavens realm in the blood god palace are present. If you have the guts, go ahead. He made way for Yunxiao sneeringly and made an inviting gesture, looking at him with a mocking expression. Chow Yaxing furrowed his brows, as if he wanted to say something, but he held back. With the combat strength Yunxiao had shown just now, he was strong enough to compete with a martial emperor, but he did not dare to touch Sima Chuanheng's eyebrows now, as that would be courting death. He turned his face to look at Elder Yu. The other party had the same expression as him. He must have thought of this as well. When they started fighting later, Sima Chuanheng would probably suffer a little. This was good too. Their dereliction of duty might be lighter. Thank you. Yunxiao smiled and said. He really flew down, heading towards the blood beast palace that Sima Chuanheng had pointed at, not even looking back. Sima Chuanheng stood in the air in a daze. Suddenly, he was filled with anger and shouted, "Arrogant and ignorant, how dare you look down on me?" He pointed a finger at Yunxiao, and the Emperor Qi broke through the air at an extremely fast speed, trying to penetrate him completely. Humph. Yunxiao's body twisted in the air, then teleported away, causing Sima Chuanheng to miss. His pupils constricted as he cried out in horror, "What? Teleportation?" His body flickered and caught up with Yunxiao in an instant. He landed above the Blood Beast Palace first and threw a punch at Yunxiao as he roared, "No matter how capable you are not qualified to behave atrociously in the Blood God Palace." All the martial supreme powerhouses had gathered in the Blood Beast Palace and were busy refining the Blood Fiends. If something went wrong at this critical moment, even he would not be able to bear the responsibility. The might of the Emperor Qi suppressed everything. The space where Yunxiao was completely frozen, and he could not even teleport. Meanwhile, the fist wind was coming at him, about to crush him into pieces. Suddenly, a figure flashed, and Halian Xiaohuang came out from behind Yunxiao and sneered, "You have the nerve to call yourself a martial supreme with such fist strength? Stop embarrassing a martial supreme. I'll let you know what a real martial supreme's punch is." A soul-shaking fist will spread in the air, as if it came from an endless time and space, peaking at the great path of the fist technique and descending. In the distance, Chao Yaxing and the others did not have time to think about why there was suddenly an extra person. They were so shocked that they felt a chill run down their spines. They did not even have the courage to retreat. It was as if any unauthorized movement would be crushed into pieces under the power of this fist. Not to mention the martial sovereigns, even Sima Chuanheng's body trembled. It was as if he had fallen into an ice cellar, as if the end of the world had come. Boom boom boom. Sima Chuanheng's fist force instantly crumbled and disintegrated in the air. His power was on the verge of collapse. How is that possible? This force is clearly only a one-star martial emperor. Their strengths are equal, but why is there such a big difference? The flesh on Sima Chuanheng's face trembled violently under the power of the fist. He circulated the strength of his entire body, but it was difficult to resist. A feeling of a mantis trying to block a car surged up in his heart, and he was the mantis. Boom. As the fist force landed, Sima Chuanheng could no longer block it. His entire body was smashed into the Blood Beast Palace, causing a huge tremor. Roar. Arg. Don't. A demonic beast's roar came from the palace, followed by Sima Chuanheng's miserable cry. He seemed to have died. Yunxiao's pupils constricted as he said in a serious voice, "What a powerful demonic qi. Could it be a 9th-rank demonic beast? This energy doesn't seem to be purely demonic qi," young Emperor Hulian also said in a deep voice. "It's very uncomfortable. Even I feel like vomiting when I smell it." All sorts of shocked and angry voices came from the palace below. It seemed that after Sima Chuanheng fell, it was a mess. "Not good, we can't control the blood fiend. Everyone, retreat. Don't get hurt by it." A cold and stern voice rang out from below. Immediately after, several rays of blood-red light shot out. The entire Blood Beast Palace was filled with a bloody smell before it suddenly exploded. The explosion spread far and wide, almost blowing up half of the Blood God Palace. A terrifying monster appeared in front of everyone. Its whole body was as red as blood, as if it was boiling. Blood bubbles kept coming out of its body. Its eyes were black holes. When it opened its mouth, the thick blood dripped onto the ground, corroding a large area. Damn it, where did this animal come from, making all our efforts go to waste? In the distance, a completely red martial artist was so angry that his entire body seemed to be on fire. His body was actually the same as the blood fiend, as if it was directly condensed from blood. At this moment, it was also constantly bubbling. Clearly, he was angry. The blood fiend let out a loud roar. After looking around with its pitch-black eyes, it suddenly flew into the distance, trying to escape. It was running in Yunxiao's direction. Although it was not very intelligent, it still had the ability to distinguish the strong from the weak. After scanning the area, it immediately found that the people in Yunxiao's direction were the weakest. Don't let it escape. The red warrior exuded a powerful aura, which frightened everyone present. Even the blood fiend looked frightened and panicked, and it ran even faster. Yunxiao's face flickered. The red-haired warrior was definitely the blood god, and the violent aura he exuded was far above that of everyone else. The blood fiend was also very powerful, and its aura seemed to be no weaker than the blood god. The blood fiend's speed of escape was extremely fast. As if it had discovered that there was someone in front of it, it suddenly roared in anger and turned into a bloody light, ready to rush over. Under the pressure of the blood fiend, Yunxiao felt a chill run down his spine. He suddenly made a bold decision. In an instant, he threw out the Divine Realm tablet, which glowed with a brilliant light and a surging soul power spread out around it, forming a sweeping force. The blood beast was startled, but it had already rushed to the Divine Realm tablet and almost crashed into it. Before it could react, it was dragged into the tablet by Yunxiao's soul power and disappeared. Who? He suddenly let out a breath, and his whole body was covered in cold sweat. After he had captured the blood fiend, he didn't have time to stop. He directly recalled how Li Yunxiao wang and teleported 100 meters away. Then, he turned into a thunderbolt and quickly fled. The whole process took only an instant. From the moment the blood beast disappeared, the blood god was stunned for a moment, and only when he saw that Yunxiao had run 1,000 meters away did he react. With a mad roar, he turned into a beam of blood light and chased after Yunxiao. Blood escape was an extremely powerful escape art, and with the blood god's shocking cultivation base, he had closed the distance of 100 meters in just a few blinks, which put great pressure on Yunxiao. You're really courting death. You captured the blood fiend and attracted the pursuit of such a powerful figure. The blood escape technique is not inferior to your thunder escape technique at all. The demonic dragon's grumbling voice could be heard. You've just escaped death and saved your life, and now you're messing around again. You're really an idiot. However, it was just complaining. Anyway, it had the Divine Realm tablet. If it couldn't defeat it, it could just hide. As long as it wasn't a peak martial emperor, it was basically impossible to break the power of a realm. Yunxiao laughed and said, "It was an accident that I caught that thing. But, I think it is very important to the blood god. I can use it to exchange for the breathing earth. What right do you have to make a deal with him?" The evil dragon snorted. "Do you think he'll give you the chance?" Yunxiao smiled indifferently. Opportunities are created by people. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. It'll be really troublesome if he catches up to you. He suddenly swallowed a few pills to increase his weak power. His speed increased a little, and he put some distance between him and the blood god. In the distant blood god palace, everyone was dumbfounded by the sudden change. It was silent for a few minutes. Gulp. One of them swallowed his saliva and said with difficulty, "Should we give chase?" Chase? How are you going to chase them? With the palace master chasing after them, we naturally don't need to worry. The other person snorted coldly and revealed a trace of doubt in his eyes, but why did such a fiend appear for no reason? Who was this person? What's his background? His eyes unconsciously turned to look at Chao Yaxing and Elder Yu, and both of them trembled as cold sweat dripped down their backs. All of the experts' eyes were focused on them, and they did not feel like they were being stabbed by a sword. Instead, they felt like they had become porcupines. The two of them had never imagined that the situation would turn out like this. The blood fiends had been stolen. If they were to be punished, they would not be able to make up for it even if they died 1,000 times. However, the two of them were extremely intelligent. They secretly looked at each other and immediately exchanged looks. Their hearts settled down and they were prepared to push all the responsibility to Sima Chuanheng. The dead would always be the best scapegoat.